بارك لهما الله أدم حبهما الله صل وسلم على رسول الله الله تب علينا الله ارضى عنا الله اهد خطانا على سنة نبينا. Let's raise our hands and make dua like the Prophet taught us, and with one voice let's all say
what you did to the Miriam Makunda show.
بارك الله لكما وبارك عليكما وجمع بينكما في خير.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Mari Makonda Show on Salam Media, and it is time for our marriage segment. So, while planning for your wedding, you should also be planning for your marriage, from defining marriage expectations to determining whether you and your partner are both on the same page about having children. No question is off limits. But some people still ask, is it necessary? Let's find out. Joining me on the line is relationship and life coach Pumelele Sakina Tolamo to talk more about premarital counseling. Assalamu alaikum, Coach Pumelele.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. How are you, Sister Mariam?
Alhamdulillah, all good in yourself?
Alhamdulillah. Great.
All right. Okay, so first of all, someone told me that this word counseling is like, it has such bad connotations. Like, why would people want to go for pre-marriage counseling? Because isn't counseling something that you do when something is like, when there's problems, then you go for counseling to get help? So why is it called premarital counseling?
I guess the word counseling has had throughout the years a bad reputation because people always feel like they have to go for counseling when something bad or you are going down the spiraling road in your relationship or yourself. But counseling is something that we should start as early as in our teenagers, just for your life challenges, whereby you get some help in anything that you need to know. You need to strengthen whatever knowledge that you need to have in order to tackle life. So we should rather look at the word counseling as something positive than rather something negative.
Mm-hmm. And I think perhaps we should call it premarital support instead of a premarital counseling, since it sounds so bad. All right. So
It's always
why is
welcome
it
to change.
why is it so important to have premarital counseling?
I think when we look at our relationships, most of us think of relationships as this fireworks full of infatuation. That's how we see relationships. While in reality, that's not how it is. So we need to go for premarital support so that we learn the necessary skills and tools to deal with disappointments and pain and other challenges that we face, because relationships aren't always fireworks, infatuation, or lovey-dovey. Reality takes place, and a whole lot of reality comes with disappointment and facing challenges. So you need to go for premarital support so that you learn how to deal with the challenges as they come into your marriage.
Mm-hmm. Then, what is the success rate of couples who do go for premarital support? Because it seems to be the in thing nowadays. It's encouraged that people should go for premarital support. But I also do think that our parents also had some sort of premarital support, as not as much as it has obviously evolved right now with the whole a professional there, and a therapist and life coach, relationship coach, etc. But what's the success rate?
According to research, about 30 to 40% of couples that go for premarital support, I love the word, they seem to have a more stronger and more lasting marriages compared to couples that didn't go for any premarital support before their marriages.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, when is it the best time to start with this premarital support? Should one start when they are thinking about getting married, or when they are engaged, or a few months before the wedding?
The ideal time is to start as an individual as soon as you realize that you think that you will be getting married in the near future. So, as an individual, it's important to start going for counseling. And then, obviously, as a couple, once you have decided where you stand and you start planning for the marriage, then you should start as soon as possible. So I'd say 6 weeks before the marriage is a bit of a stretch. You'll have to go for everyday classes. But if you can do 4 to 6 months before the wedding, it would be ideal to do a really detailed premarital support program.
Yeah, that should actually be a premarital workshop instead of a whole counseling program. But anyway, we are going to take a quick break, but do stay with us, and we will be right back after this. So if you are listening and if you are watching, we will be right back after the break, and we are talking about premarital counseling. And if you have any comments, questions, queries, please leave them in the comment section. Don't go anywhere.
This is Salam Media, and you are tuned into the Miriam Makunda Show.
As the crisis in Yemen continues, 80% of the population are in desperate need of basic necessities. The Africa Muslims Agency teams are on the ground undertaking emergency relief efforts. Come to the aid of the people of Yemen by donating any amount now towards food, shelter, and medication. Contact AMA now on 011 834 8685. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
Dad, well, I've been chatting with an investment broker today and...
Broker? Did the broker tell you that our economy is a mess? There's bushfires in Australia, America wanted World War III, and now the coronavirus is traveling around the world.
Well, I also thought about purchasing some crypto.
Crypto? What's that, like another pyramid scheme? I don't trust what I can't see.
There's an apartment in Belito.
So whole your family will be asking to stay there for free. And what if the government takes it away, eh?
Dad, I don't think it works like that.
I tell you what works. Gold. At your age, I invested in gold coins and it paid for your university fees and your wedding. No contracts, no agreements. Your investment is in your hands and you own it. With a 70% growth in only 5 years, do you still doubt gold investment? Contact RJ Coin today, 031 202 4701, or visit them at 151 Stephen Lamini Road in Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
Nature's Blends Black Seed, Kalonji, Sunnah and Hadith Benefit Remedy. Nature's Blends has a variety of natural products to help you take control of your life. Key ingredients being black seed oil, cod liver oil, glucosamine, turmeric, black seed, and Yemeni cedar honey. Add this to your favorite foods or mix with cedar honey to improve health. Black seed has a lot of benefits. Just to mention a few, it's antibacterial, anti-ulcer, anti-inflammatory, and pain-killing, etc. For more information or to order, contact Shakir Kassam on 082 777 8696 or email shakir222@icloud.com or follow at Shakir_ABC on Instagram for all your Sunnah remedy needs. Nature's Blends, bringing nature's finest.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Miriam Makunda Show on Salam Media. And on today's marriage segment with Coach Pumelele Sakina, we are talking about premarital counseling and is it necessary? So, Coach, welcome back. Now, when it comes to the topics that should be discussed, what should our focus be on?
Okay. Most of the time we operate on a very superficial level. We think if we know your uh, prospective spouse favorite color, favorite movie, you are good to go. But once you get married, there are deeper topics that come into play. And if you are not prepared, well prepared for them, you might find that you will shut down or think of a divorce or walking away from the marriage because you're not well prepared to tackle the challenges that you'll be facing. So it's very important to discuss, for example, where the couple will be staying. Will they be renting or buying? Will they be staying with the in-laws? What sort of relationship with the in-laws will be like? One of the topics that many people like to stay away from is finances. And it's very, very important to discuss finances, who will be paying for what, even though Islamically we know that the husband is supposed to financially sustain the marriage, but sometimes you encounter difficulties. So you have to prepare as a couple and discuss what if we encounter certain difficulties such as unemployment. What's the next step to take? So we need to discuss all of that. We need to discuss a person's financial ethos. What's their approach to finances? Do they believe in generosity? Do they believe in saving? Do they believe in living for today or living for tomorrow? We need to get to know that, because once you live with someone and, for example, you decide that you're going to have a joint account, and the other spouse uses the joint account to go for a shopping spree every Friday. You need to know all of those things. You need to discuss that. How are you going to be spending your money? What, for example, products that you use, for example, for your daily runnings of the household. What do you eat for breakfast, lunch, and so forth? What will you be spending, your money on? You need to discuss all of those in detail, because if you don't do that, and once you get into the marriage without discussing that, there are certain expectations that people have. So before the marriage, you need to discuss your different expectations. You need as well to discuss the gender role expectations, as we know that it's not as before, whereby it was the wife is expected to do everything inside the house and the husband is the one going out to seek for sustenance. So you need to discuss your gender roles. You need to discuss your approach to children. Some people want to wait before they have kids in the marriage, and some people want to have kids immediately. You need to discuss that. You need to discuss your illnesses, if you have any mental illnesses and how you're dealing with them. If you have any chronic illnesses that impact on the marriage, you might not be constantly healthy enough to be present in the marriage if you suffer from any chronic illnesses, and it might take an emotional and financial toll on the other spouse. You must be prepared for that. Your spirituality, how do you approach spirituality? We may all be sharing the same religion, but we might approach spirituality differently. So you need to talk about that when you go for your premarital support. You need to discuss your physical ethos. Do you believe in healthy eating? What if you get married, one spouse believes in healthy eating while the other spouse doesn't believe in healthy eating? So there will always be conflict in the household as to why did you buy chips and sweets and the other one is only buying lettuce and cucumbers. So you need to have a detailed discussion around all of these issues, because once you get married without knowing this, it starts creating resentment in the marriage because you were unaware of all these challenges. Communication as well, communication skills. We don't all have the same communication and effective communication skills. So, for example, if someone is upset, they keep quiet and not talk to you. So you need to be aware and conscious of how the other person reacts to anger, how they react to excitement and disappointment. You need to know that, because sometimes the spouse can keep quiet for weeks and you think the other spouse is thinking, no, everything is fine. They're not saying anything. So you need to have a good communication skills and communicate when you're not feeling well or when something has upset you. So we cover all of that in premarital support.
That's a lot of things that needs to be discussed. A lot of let me not say issues, but a lot of items that needs to be discussed. So one thing I just wanted to add there to your comment when it comes to chronic illnesses. Also, we should discuss the issue of a disability. You know, if somebody gets into an accident and then they are disabled, will the other partner be able to care for them should a situation like that arise? I know that it's difficult to have answers to that because you're not sure of the extent of the disability and the extent of your requirements in the relationship, how much they are going to need you to be there for them. All right. So, how long should the premarital counseling be? Because you just given me a long list of topics that need to be discussed. So, how long should it be?
You know, ideally, as I said before, 4 to 6 months, so that you can thoroughly bash out all the issues and have the answers that you need. And sometimes, especially if maybe someone has gone through a trauma, and we know trauma does negatively affect marriage. So maybe the one spouse that has went through a trauma, they need some individual counseling and some closure on how to deal with the trauma and not get triggered in the marriage. You know, so a good 4 to 6 months is a good start for the couple.
And then, all right, after the 4 to 6 months, you've done the premarital workshops, the training, discussed the issues, and then you find that you and this person, you're not working out. Should you then leave?
Yeah, it's best to find out before the marriage that you are not well suited, instead of leaving it until you get married and then your marriage is faced with a lot of fights, a lot of disagreements and disappointments and pain. Then you end up having to resort to divorce. And it's especially sad when children are involved, that now the couple has to separate when children are involved. And you know me, I'm a great advocate for marriage, and I really despise divorce. So for me to have premarital support is very important. Then you can decide that no, this person is not best suited for me, than to force issues. You get married and you come across a lot of difficulties that will eventually lead to separation or divorce.
I know some people always just get married because it's the spur of the moment, or they're just trying to fulfill half of their deen, and it's like we just knew each other for 2 months, and all of a sudden, never mind 2 months, some people even 2 weeks, and then decide to get married, and then a few months down the line it doesn't work out because they just don't see eye to eye, and their values don't add up, and they're always bumping heads, which is a sad state of affairs. So yeah, getting to know a person is a good way to go about things. That way, it will also avoid the high numbers of the divorce rates. So the question is: premarital counseling necessary?
I believe it's absolutely necessary. It's absolutely necessary because you get to discuss issues that you didn't think about most of the time. Because I think most of the time, as people in general, we operate on a very superficial level, We think things like knowing your favorite movie or knowing your favorite type of milkshake, those things are important, but we avoid going on a deeper level of which it comes out. It really, when you spend time like almost 24 hours in a day with someone, such issues definitely crop up. And if you don't have the necessary skills and tools to deal with them, you'll find your marriage in very hot waters.
All right, Coach Sakina, what is your social media handles? How can people find you?
Facebook, Pumelele Sakina Julamo, Instagram, Twitter, at Pumelele Sakina. You just look for me. It's all Pumelele Sakina, Pumelele Sakina. Just look for me. I also have the present spouse page on Facebook. I have the present parent page as well on Facebook. You can find me there.
All right, so shukran so much for your time and your insight and the knowledge, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure, and all the best to the Salam Media team.
All right, assalamu alaikum. That was Coach Pumelele Sakina Dolamo sharing with us her insights on why premarital counseling, or we're going to use the word support now, why premarital support is necessary. And there are lots of topics that need to be discussed. So if you find someone that you feel like, hey, you know what, I gel with this person, I'm vibing with him or her, I think that we should get married. 4 to 6 months is the time that you need to take for premarital support, and go for workshops and whatever it is that you can to ensure that you get to know the person, not get to know your favorite ice cream and your favorite cartoon and your favorite Netflix series. No, not that. On a deeper and emotional level and spiritual, talk about the things that matter. Talk about the things that will actually affect you, because Netflix is not going to affect you. You can just chill and then the day is done. Anyways, we will be right back after the break.